Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conference and Conversations. This is our first one, and this is a live series where we are getting to know some of our session speakers for our upcoming Amplify AEC conference, which will be in early August in Austin, Texas. So today we have with us Sam Van Scoik from Massachusetts. Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Happy to be here today. It's my first LinkedIn Live. I feel,
Me too. You're in good
yeah.
company. We're figuring it out. Let's talk a little bit about your session, which is called Engaging Everyone, Creating Accessible, Powerful Social Media Content. Can you give us the quick 5-minute summary of what it's all about?
Sure. Yeah. The title really says it all. So, we are going to focus on how to tell powerful stories and how to make sure that the technical aspects of making sure your social media and your stories are accessible to people with disabilities. So you'll learn about alt text, how to format your hashtags correctly. We'll talk about emoji crimes. And if you don't know what that is, I'll tell you in Austin. And and really focusing too on the structure of a powerful story, because when you know how to tell a good story, you can capture attention, and it just makes everything that you're doing more accessible to everybody. So.
So, this idea of accessibility in marketing touches a little bit on inclusion. It's a very niche sort of area of expertise. Can you just share a little bit about how you came into having expertise in this?
Yeah, definitely. I have kind of a weird story, weird trajectory of my career. So I started in architecture as a marketing coordinator, um, and uh, and my firm specialized in healthcare architecture. So I'm sure we're all familiar with the canned text that you use to talk about, how our firm knows how to design for anybody's accessibility needs. We can meet ADA and all those things. And then I made a switch to being on the real estate side. So I am at CIL, we're a nonprofit real estate developer, and we focus on developing housing for people with disabilities. And so, with this, kind of experience in building in the built environment, taking that over to CIL and uh, really feeling like when you say things like we can design environments for people with, you know, special needs, uh, then we need to match that with our marketing, right? We need to align our values here. And definitely feeling that way when I came into being involved in CIL. Um, and so one of the first things I did at CIL was we redesigned the website. We made sure it was accessible. And, and that's a constant process, because you never know what you're going to do that might break your accessibility structure. So those are some things that we'll talk about too in Austin. Um, and through my involvement at CIL, I became active in volunteering in advocacy around the rights for people with disabilities, and specifically with an organization called Dignity Alliance Massachusetts. And that's where I have had direct, hearing from self advocates about what they need, what they see as a gap, and even just in my personal life, my grandmother in her older age has lost her vision, and it's something that I think we all should think about, is these things, anybody can become disabled at any moment. And for me, looking into my future, thinking, it's very likely that the same reason she became uh, the same reason she experienced vision loss could apply to me. I want marketing to be accessible to me. And it's not something we always think about until we've directly experienced it. So that's why it's kind of my mini mission to amplify this topic amongst marketers. So.
I love that purpose behind your work. That's awesome. And by the way, good use of the word amplify.
Hey.
The headquarters rebranded the conference, which was previously Build Business, now Amplify AEC. And for those out there who might not know, it's a marketing, business development, and leadership conference for professionals in the design and built industries. We typically refer to it as AEC, Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. So, Sam, for those who might be watching and saying, well, I'm not in social media, what do you think that really any participant who comes to see your session could take away and apply in their work?
Well, great stories are universal. And so being able to tell a great story, even if whether it's on social media, whether it's in your proposal, I mean, those things are related. So it's a skill that will never it will never not be relevant to you. And then as far as the accessibility piece, a lot of the things that we're going to dive into on accessibility translate across marketing content. So the same principles of how to write alt text apply to your image on social as much as they apply to formatting a PowerPoint presentation, for instance, or PDFing, making sure your headlines are accessible. So it really touches on a lot of different things that I think pretty much everybody would find useful.
So, as a person who spends a lot of time in the digital world, maybe we would call you a digital marketer if we're not all digital marketers yet. What do you think is going to be the biggest change in coming years for marketing and marketing professionals, maybe specifically in architecture, engineering, construction, and commercial real estate?
Yeah. So I think tools like AI are just set up to transform how we're doing things. And one thing that I've been lucky, I've been using AI for content creation for the last couple of years. And I would love to see marketing leaders embracing that technology, not being afraid of it. Because I'll tell you, I've been using it. It needs human help.
Yep.
And we need to learn to embrace and leverage these technologies and not be so afraid of them. So that's the thing that I would say is definitely going to start changing how we're operating.
Awesome. I know not only are you speaking at Amplify, but you're also attending the conference in Austin, Texas. Is there one thing you're really excited about in Austin? Maybe another session that you're looking forward to seeing, or a colleague or a connection you're missing and want to, make sure you see and have coffee with or lunch?
Yeah, so I was really sad that I missed Amplify last year. So I am just super excited to be here this year and to even visit the city of Austin. I've never been to Austin before, so that'll be new for me. And I feel like over the pandemic, I actually became close with a lot of AEC marketers across the country. So I can't wait to see to meet some of them in person because I haven't yet. And I was just looking at the schedule and wow, what a lineup. It's going to be so hard to decide what workshops to attend.
I know. There's so much I want to see. I think I literally have 2 or 3 selections in each time spot that I'm like, oh, I want to be in 2 places at once.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I saw another powerful storytelling session that looked awesome. And speaking of AI, I mean, there's a session about AI that I thought really jumped out at me too. So.
Yep. Sam, speaking of AI, and you talked a little bit about using it as a tool to create content,
Yep.
other than the obvious, which is ChatGPT, are there any tools that you're using right now that you're like, the best AI tool that I have in my toolkit is what?
I've been using AnyWord. Um, and AnyWord is specific to marketing. So what AnyWord will do is, if you're working on a LinkedIn post, you specifically can tell AnyWord, hey, I'm working on a LinkedIn post. This is the topic. These are the keywords I want to use. And this is the call to action. And then AnyWord can generate 5 different versions of that. And then the cool layered on feature to that is you can set demographics.
Wow.
So this is my target audience.
Wow.
And it'll actually score the different variations it gives you and say, this one is really strong for your demo. And it's really kind of a cool tool.
Yeah.
And I will say, ChatGPT is pretty impressive too. Sometimes I compare the AnyWord results with the ChatGPT results just to see what the differences are.
Okay, so next question about AI. Are there any AI tools that you're using to enable accessibility in your content? Does that exist yet?
That's a great question. I will say I will occasionally use AI to help me generate alt text.
Mhm.
But I would say most of my accessibility, I do just applying the principles that I'm going to teach everybody. But so I haven't really been integrating AI into that piece yet, but I'm sure I got to think maybe there is. That's a great thing for me to look into before August.
Love that. So we keep going back to this word amplify, and it was a very intentionally chosen word to represent the conference. But in your experience in AEC, can you just share maybe what the word amplify means to you in terms of how you're amplifying your voice, or maybe in a diversity, equity, and inclusion perspective, how are you amplifying the voices of others, or maybe just in general, what does the word mean to you?
Sorry, I think I cut out there for a second.
You did. That's all right. We were waiting with bated breath.
So what Amplify means to me. So I'm really big on mentorship. I actually chair the mentorship committee, co-chair the mentorship committee for SMPS Connecticut.
Awesome.
And one of the big things that I am always talking about is like, it's never too early in your career to get loud. And yeah, I am referencing J-Lo when I say that. But what I really mean by that is it's never too early. If you have an idea to talk about it, share it. Share it internally, share it externally, submit speaking abstracts. Even if you only have a year of experience, you might have a different perspective. And I started doing that when I was early on, and I don't regret it at all. It's scary in the moment, but making yourself an expert on the topics that you're passionate about and getting loud on those topics is so important, and that amplifies your own voice, and it also gives you the opportunity to amplify the other experts in that field. And I think as marketers and business developers, we're just wired to amplify others. Yeah. And so we can do that through our collaboration with our partners and clients and connecting with like-minded organizations. So
awesome. Well, Sam, thank you. We said we were going to spend 15 minutes together, and that's what we did. I just want to remind everyone who's watching and hopefully attending Amplify that Sam's session is called Engaging Everyone, Creating Accessible, Powerful Social Media Content. And that will be held on Wednesday, August 9th at 3:30. So thank you, Sam. I enjoyed our time together, and I'm hoping we can meet in person in Austin.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.